Senator Landy.
I want to raise an issue today which will be familiar to many people who served in local authorities across the country. That's the issue of the shared ownership house purchase scheme. This scheme, which was introduced about 15 years ago, allows potential purchasers of council houses to buy the house in a scheme whereby they take out a half a mortgage and they pay the rent for the other half of the house. In some cases, and in most cases, the first half of the mortgage is taken out over 30 years. They pay rent for 30 years, and then they take out the second half of the mortgage over another 30 years, and they pay rent over another 30 years. This means, that a person can be paying a mortgage for 60 years, and during all of that time, they're still a tenant to the council. I have come across the scheme in my time as a councillor with many people. I have never promoted or never encouraged anybody to take out this scheme, because effectively you're neither fish nor flesh when you're in the middle of this scheme. Today I'm calling on the leader to bring this scheme to the attention of the Minister, to ask the Minister to review the scheme with a view to abandoning this scheme as an option for people to buy houses. The scheme is too long in its duration for people to become house owners. It creates difficulties when people pass on to the next world. If they have a will made, they're not an owner, they're not a tenant. Tenancy rights are questionable, and the ownership is certainly questionable. There's the issue of mortgage protection. It's very difficult to get mortgage protection on half a house if anybody ever tried to do it. There's also the issue of people who are locked into these schemes and who are paying extremely high interest rates because the schemes came out, as I said, about 15 years ago. We're in a very difficult situation. So what I'm asking for the leader to do is to speak to the Minister for Housing with a view to reviewing this full scheme, winding it up and entering into negotiations with the poor misfortunates around the country who are foolish enough and encouraged in some quarters to enter into this scheme, to negotiate with them to give them an option to get out of this scheme at a favourable rate for themselves. Thank you, Cathaoirleach.